We're back after some time with a podcast. Apologies for that. It's just been, good gear habits coming along faster than we thought. So just been a little busy putting all that together. So let's dive in. It's one of my favorite topics because out of all the thousands and lakhs of kilometers that I've ridden solo a lot. So here is the podcast. Riding solo. There's a moment just as you throttle forward and merge onto the open road when everything else seems to fall away. The deadlines, the distractions, the noise of modern life, the pressure to be someone, to be somewhere. It all vanishes. You become lighter, clearer, and most importantly, simpler. It's just you, your machine, and the horizon that keeps unfolding like a promise. And somehow, you end up feeling, here I am, alone on two wheels. I'm the captain of my destiny and the master of my path. Riding solo isn't about proving anything to the world. It isn't about slipping into a state of being and, calling it things that seem paranormal. Because riding solo is very real. The road becomes a mirror. It tells you how capable you are as a rider, what are your fears, how much leeway you can take with the bike, and it just keeps you honest. And this is where the magic of riding solo resides. It's a beautiful paradox. You take a turn and you see a beautiful valley. You're seeing it alone. It's like that. It's like an ultimate reward. And conversely, if you get into trouble, there's no one coming to save you. So it's all about you and your bike. It's not the speed or the distance that defines a solo ride. It's the clarity. Each turn is a decision you have to make alone. Go hard, go slow, bank, curve, whatever. Each mile, cliched as it might sound, is indeed meditation. Because for me, I don't know how many thousands of times I've done it. Just got onto the bike, did a 200-kilometer run. I used to have it timed, 2 hours something. It's just me, my music, the bike, and the road. And I could not express in words how magical it made me feel. I was free to stop wherever I wanted. Usually I stop for tea after an hour or so. And I was free to take pictures. It was just, I'm sorry I'm using this word free so much because that's what riding solo to me is, just ultimate freedom. The rhythm of the engine settles deep into your bones. It's not just a sound, it's a pulse, a conversation between man and machine. The wind becomes a companion, reminding you that, buddy, you might have a very fancy bike, you might be really clipping it, but here I am, Mother Nature. You have to pay your respects. And the absence of company doesn't feel like loneliness. As someone said, once you start equating, or rather getting used to being alone, you'll enjoy it because I enjoy it hell of a lot. And that is why I ride solo a lot. It's not that I'm anti-social. It's just that I like to be social with, friends or, banter and, doing group activities. But being solo, riding solo is just a different state of mind. And as you ride through cities that blur past, there are open stretches, which open wide and time slows down. You take detours. There is no Google Maps. Or rather, I don't put Google Maps when I ride. And if I like the look of the road on the left, with no idea where it leads, I often go there. Because that's what it is. The spirit of adventure, the spirit of exploration. You stop because not someone needs a break, but because your gut says, stop, take in the view. There is a lot that you have sacrificed, whether it's in terms of sleep, or in time with someone, or being present somewhere else to ride alone. So don't keep rushing in a solo ride. Take that slight pause, enjoy it. And very often on a solo ride, I lose myself in the moment but find myself in the journey. Somewhere out there on a nameless road or the edge of a small town, something shifts. You begin to shed layers. You begin to shed layers of stress, overthinking, of pretending to be someone who you need to be in your life to play that role, whatever role you're playing. You get closer to who you are, and there's no one watching. There's no one to give you a pat on the back that, wow, you're doing a good job, and there's no one to, again judge you. So it's you. Riding solo is as close to being in your own skin as you'll get. You meet yourself, not in a bad way, but in a good way. And in the curve of the road, in the risk of the unknown, you have to make choices. Keep going, stop, turn back. And as you ride more and more, you will realize it starts defining you. Very often, and this happens a lot, when the light is changing either at dawn or dusk, you're riding solo, and it's either too cold or it's dull and dreary, and doubt creeps in. Where am I going? What am I doing? And that's the moment of truth where you tell yourself, okay, I've ridden the entire day. I'll take a break now. I'll break for the night. Or is it still that go-getting you from your job? No, one more hour, one more this and one more that. This is my target. And riding solo, like I said, you are the master of your destiny and the captain of your ship. Do what feels right. Yet sometimes when you're riding, suddenly the mountains become too large or the desert becomes too vast. Fear creeps in. Fear, F-E-A-R, is, when handled well, is a weapon. Otherwise, it's crippling. Fear tells you, slow down. Fear tells you commonsensical things which we often don't listen. But as you ride through it, you become stronger. You lean in, you breathe, and you trust your bike. You trust your skills. You don't keep wondering, this is where I skate, this is where I fall down. And automatically your thinking changes from questions to affirmations. This is crucial to remember. From questions to affirmations. Every unfamiliar road, every long silence becomes a lesson. You learn to see fear not as the enemy, but as the road marker to growth. Riding solo doesn't make you fearless. It teaches you to master fear, to ride alongside it, and eventually to leave it all behind. By the time you return, you're different. You're a lot calmer, you're a lot more composed, and you have a private moment with you which you're cherishing. So you really don't want to talk to too many people. You just want to, just absorb the ride a little more. And here you are, more awake. You've tasted what it means to be fully present in the moment. To move, not to escape, but to arrive with yourself. And understand, riding solo is not an act of rebellion. It's not a tantrum. It's a very, very active decision you make. And it's a decision that you will really cherish for a very long time. It's a rite of passage. I know there are so many of my friends, including people at Good Gear Hub, they don't like riding solo. They like company. And company as in it's just the presence of someone. Because we don't ride pillion, we are all on our own bikes. But for me, riding solo is that me time to degree X. Riding solo is a declaration that you're ready to face the world with nothing but your instincts, your machine, and your will. Riding solo will also teach you how to respect your machine, because if you just, jump out of bed and get into your riding gear and start riding, that's might not be optimal. So, when I'm riding solo, in my tack bag, there's always a first aid bag. There's always an air compressor. There's always a puncture kit. There's always a torch and a zillion other things. Reason being, to me, riding solo is about being self-sufficient. And often, I just wander off. So I just can't keep depending on if I get into trouble, RSA will come. And I come from a generation where we fixed our own bikes because there was no RS. So either you fixed it or you pushed it. It's as simple as that. So we learned to fix it. So riding solo will teach you that. And riding solo, we'll just wrap this podcast up. It gives you that realization because these days in life we are reinventing quantum physics. We are always vacillating from I should have done better to I could have done better, little realizing that we are exactly where we need to be. Riding solo tells you that. And lastly, riding solo also, you must offer your deepest sense of gratitude that you've been able to take that time out. You're able to afford the motorcycle that you wish to. And you are riding when people are doing something else. And the last closing thought is it's important not to judge anyone. Because riding solo will keep teaching you to be more comfortable with yourself. Thank you for listening to me. My name is Ashish Bhel, signing off for Good Gear Hub. Till we speak again, which is going to be very soon. Bye-bye.